So of all the in all the places that you'd ever run into someone, here's one of the biggest. G'day, I was just talking about you. Tony. And is there anything new for us, Axel?
There certainly is, Tony.
Could you extrapolate on that?
I'd like to point towards the new live personal mixer, the M48. What it is, look, if anyone's used any kind of personal monitoring system, it's basically giving musicians complete control over their own fallback, which is a great thing. Less work for the fallback engineer. This has got control over all 40 channels that travel down our digital snake. So it starts with the premise that you're using our digital snake, but if you are, then this is a fantastic add-on because you now have an individual, a unique mix of any of the 40 channels on each station. So you could have 8 stations hanging off, or 16, whatever, and every group on the mixer can be a unique blend of those 40 channels. So the drummer would have kick, snare, hat, a singer would have all of the drums on one group. It's got a built-in reverb. It's got an ambient microphone built in, so a lot of the things that a lot of people complain about monitoring systems within here is that they feel isolated. So there's an ambient microphone that you can dial in on the station.
Ideally, you're imagining people are going to use this with cans, not plug it into a floor wedge or something?
It can be used equally both ways, but of course there's a lot of advantages to going within here. But yes, there's a line out, so no problem using it to power monitors.
You said it works out of the S4000s. Does it work out the Baby Snake the same?
Sure does, yeah.
So 40 channels out the Baby Snake now?
No.
Not quite the same.
Same 24 channels, but very flexible.
Okay,
also got a built-in reverb as well, so it takes that away from front of house resources.
Is there an effect send in there that somebody can bring their own effect in there?
Look, you could if you wanted to, but you do that via the desk. So you can send anything that's going through the desk, including auxiliaries or whatever, down to this.
Okay. So, and the recall and store, that's if you're moving from band to band or...
Exactly, yeah.
And pretty easy to use. These are soft touch buttons, are they, or no?
No, that's a solo button, but so you're just switching between your...
So if I want to kick us on 1,
yeah.
How do I get to 1? As opposed to 9. Okay, there it is. 1 to 8 button, 9 to 16 button.
I think in most cases people are unlikely to have more than eight groups, for their mix, and they don't really want to make it that complicated.
And that just turns the volume buttons into pan buttons.
And that turns it into a reverb send.
So reverb on each.
Yep.
So differing amounts of the same reverb on each.
Yeah. And two headphone outs. Yeah, some EQ. You've got 4-band EQ as well. You've got a general overall EQ.
And a limiter, working like a compressor.
Yes. It's just a gate. It just stops slams it on the brakes as soon as it's something likely to burn your brain might pop up, which always happens. That was another big problem with in-ears. There's just no.
And how many sets of phones out?
2.
And what's ATT?
Attenuation. So you can have a general attenuation level for the output. You can make the lights brighter or dimmer, depending whether it's outdoor or indoor.
Or how smart you are.
Smart you are.
Yeah. Did it go down any dimmer than that for me, though?
I wouldn't dare to comment on something like that, Tony.
So we run Cat 5 into 1, and do we go out of this unit into the next unit?
No. It all comes off the splitter.
Oh, now we haven't mentioned that
power
yet,
over
So this is only $50, but this bit...
8 outs.
What are the other 2?
They're
the
from the snake, yeah. And in this case,
we're out. You have to have the redundant one run as well, or you can just have one?
That's not a redundant line. That's actually just running to the desk. So
you've gone from the stage box to this, out of this to the desk.
Yeah. Well,
but you could
it's
go
probably the other way around, more to the point. In this case, we're going from the desk into that, but yeah. And it supplies power over Ethernet.
And the facility, if people are still wanting to do a recording via the Ethernet, and would that be a time that they would get a switch?
You can still use a hub just to get as many splits as you want. So one of those could be recording, or if you're using the console, there's a split built-in, a split port, as you know, on the console itself. So no problem. And some exciting news this month. We've had a price decrease on some of these bits and pieces, haven't we? Yes. That's going to make it even more affordable for you, Artie Jones. And you behind the camera watching this as well. Is there anyone there? Now the currency's being a little kinder, so I'm quick to pass that on. Now they're out of China. It's really come down, hasn't it? Nothing we make comes out of China. Nothing from the Roland Systems Group all comes from Japan.
All right, well, Axel, thank you very much, mate. You've been terrific again.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else?
Well, this is Video Land.
So video.
This is relatively new. It's a video presenter, so video on demand. I can. So essentially, you load it up with as many clips as you like. You can drag and drop them via USB, or you can record them in real time from a video source, whatever
Does that have
may
an
be.
internal memory or just a USB?
It works off an SD memory card. So it'll accept a 32 gigabyte card, up to 32 gigabytes, which will give you about 240 minutes of video time. Also, you can, of course, just trigger still images or audio clips. So for any kind of live presentation, I mean, the argument for this is the same as anything that could potentially be done by a computer as well, in that this doesn't know what the internet is, it doesn't know what a printer port is, so it has a very limited set of commands that it needs to do, so it consequently becomes very, very reliable. And it can be playing, like this. I'm playing away, and if I kicked out the power, it's actually reading. Now, if you did that to a computer while it was reading video off a hard drive, you could probably fry the hard drive. I can turn that back on now, and it'll, in about 5 seconds, I'll be back up and running. And there we go. You can't do that with a computer.
So you can have 12 samples loaded at a
12
time?
per bank, but you've actually got 800. You can hold down this and go to a second bank. There's a subset. So it basically means you can have about 800 clips access to. So very, very powerful. No, there's no limitation there. You can control the speed of the video. I can control the direction of the video. I can reverse it, so if I've got nice sky, I can turn time backwards, speed it up, slow it down.
And having all of these just on a button makes it really
and plus
easy
a
to
built-in
use.
screen, so you don't need a secondary preview monitor.
What's the retail price on that?
$22.95.
So, and we've sold those before.
You can see this is now also controlling the M400 vision mixer, so that as I change sources, if I were to play you some of this recording that we've got, this is one of the most recent recordings we've done with the Sonar recording system. This was at a performing arts centre. It was a classical trio. The result, I think, speaks for itself, but it sounds amazing. So now, I've told the mixer which channel has audio associated with this. So if I switch to the other player.
And how do these connect?
Via MIDI. So for a single operator scenario, that's perfect. But even if it's two operators, that the vision person or the sound person they don't have to talk to each other. Say, right, now, and push the fader up. It just works.
It's great. All right, Axel. Well, once again, you've blown our minds.
I'm good at that.
He is. Axel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you around the traps.
Thank you everyone in TV land.